Good morning. Welcome to Just for Today, a time of eclectic readings, sharing of perspectives, meditation, and prayer. I'm Reverend Rafe Ellis, Senior Minister and Spiritual Leader of the newly joined Centers for Spiritual Living Communities of Greater Baltimore and Columbia. Today is July 31st. And this morning I'm reading again from the Practitioner Handbook for Spiritual Mind Healing. And while this was primarily written for people on the journey of professional practitioners, as Ernest Holmes said, anyone who practices science of mind is a practitioner. The difference being one is licensed and can perform certain services, the other is we are learning it for ourselves, which everybody is doing. Yeah, I appreciate your risk-free money sports betting, but that doesn't apply here, so not going to be posting that. Thank you, whoever you are. I can't actually read your name, but I'm glad you joined us. So I'm reading from page 21. Peace of mind cannot be found in the past or the future, only in the present. Our peace of mind adds to the consciousness of peace for our clients and throughout humanity. Each day should start on an inner basis, free of stress, full of health and peace of mind. During the day, we are conscious of how we contribute to others who have lost their peace of mind. We live in a life of humility. We are humble, respectful, cooperative, peaceful, and never arrogant. This means perceiving and cooperating with the positive desires of other people. We see and feel a need and, if possible, fill it in an appropriate manner. So there's a lot there, particularly how we start our day. Right? Each day should start on an inner basis, free of stress, full of health and peace of mind. How the heck do you do that when the world, for many of us, feels like it's been turned upside down? Well, for starters, we recognize that our peace of mind, our health, our contentment, our state of being is not controlled by conditions. We don't ignore the conditions, but what we are called to do is find that peace that is our nature and be peace in the midst of turmoil. Be positive, not toxic positivity where we just, blanket the misery of humanity with it's all good, it's all God, and then turn a blind eye, but to actually find that place within us that is the truth of being, even in the midst of conditions that don't reflect that. Because that's where the power is to heal, right? When we be truth in the midst of untruth, we help shift that. We don't sell a product in terms of theology. We're not trying to convert anyone. We're on a journey of living it so powerfully, so clearly, that it draws other people to it by curiosity. How are you this in the midst of this? And then we get to share who we are and how we got there. Because when we know who we are, we know who everybody else is. Right? There's one source, there's one substance, and everybody, everything is it in form. But we have to start with ourselves, and we have to do the work. We have to take, here comes the R word, we have to take responsibility to do our due diligence, to do our spiritual practice, whatever you want to call it, on a daily basis, on a minute-to-minute basis, to live spiritual principle. Not just to talk about it, but to live it, even in the face of condemnation. even in the face of ridicule, even in the face of persecution, to be that center of peace and love and compassion and tenderness and understanding. That's how we're going to change this world, folks. Not change it to our agenda, but change it to a humanity that lives in peace with itself and with every element of this thing we call Earth and the universe. Because our power extends beyond the physical realm. It comes from beyond the physical realm. It extends beyond the physical realm because the physical realm is never separate from the spiritual realm. It is simply an expression of the spiritual in form. So that's what comes up for me when I read this. During the day we are conscious of how we contribute to others who have lost their peace of mind. Do we ridicule them, or do we hold space for them and the messiness of their journey back home to the truth of their being? It makes a huge difference. Huge difference. Excuse me. We live a life of humility. We are humble, respectful, cooperative, peaceful, and never arrogant. I hear many of us tout that science of mind is the best kept secret. And for me, that's a position of arrogance. Because science of mind, in and of itself, is simply a synthesis of the common thread of spiritual truth, spiritual principle, that are practiced in many philosophies, religions, spiritualities. We don't have a market on spiritual truth. We have a technology, we have a teaching that we use to help us embody it. And perhaps it's no better and no worse than anybody else's. It's simply different. And perhaps if we approached our own practices, our own teaching, with that humility and that openness, and allowed others from a perspective of curiosity, the whole begins to grow in connection. That's my thought. I don't know what you think. I think that's one of the challenges of New Thought, is that we each are empowered to have our own journey with our own thoughts. And I think what's critical is that we understand that the principles are unchanging. Our thoughts about the principles are always changing. Our dance with spiritual principle, always evolving. New music, new steps. Sometimes we dance really well, and sometimes we're the awkward one on the dance floor that folks look at and go, what exactly are they doing? And all of it is okay, and all of it is perfect. It's about the journey. It's not about a destination. Because in an infinite journey, there really can't be a single destination. So I'm going to read this paragraph through one more time, and then take us into our time of meditation practice. It's 5 minutes of just practicing, being present with whatever comes up, and perhaps what may come alive in you during that 5 minutes is how to live today more effectively, differently, in spiritual principle, from spiritual principle. Okay, here we go. Peace of mind cannot be found in the past or in the future, only in the present. Our peace of mind adds to the consciousness of peace for our clients and throughout humanity. Each day should start on an inner basis of stress, free of stress, full of health and peace of mind. During the day, we are conscious of how we contribute to others who have lost their peace of mind. We live a life of humility with humble. We are humble, respectful, cooperative, peaceful, and never arrogant. This means perceiving and cooperating with the positive desires of other people. We see and feel a need, and if possible, fill it in an appropriate manner. So let's take that into our time of meditation. And so in this moment, I recognize the one infinite, ever-present allness of life. One substance that is the source of all creation, that is all creation, that is the seen and the unseen, the formed and the unformed. It is the singular substance out of which all life is expressed. And so all life must contain what it is made of. The creative process of life itself, animated within the creation of this one. Each individualized expression, a portal of the activity of expansion, of infinite possibility expressing, being made known as desire to be. I am that in form. What is true of me must be true of all creation in the truth of one. And so I claim and affirm that all that the infinite is alive and active as me. And so I open to an awareness of the activity, whether I call it God, peace, whether I call it the infinite, the divine, love, life. What I claim and affirm is my awareness of it, my embodiment of it, my being it in form. And that as I be it, I recognize it everywhere. I recognize and consciously, intentionally, purposefully interact in this day in a way that acknowledges that I am interacting with the divine. That beyond conditions, beyond presentation, the truth of being is always present. And I claim and affirm the courage and the curiosity and the humility and the compassion to see beyond behavior that is out of alignment with the truth of being, to see the truth of being in every actor, knowing that what gets recognized gets repeated, knowing that as I see it and as I be it, it is empowered. The vibration of expression is literally changed and brought into resonance. In the moment, which is all that there ever is this moment. And so I live today, moment to moment, breath to breath, in an awareness of truth, of spiritual truth, of the changeless truth that simply is. And I celebrate. I celebrate that the activity of this creative process that I call law, that objective, impartial activity that simply receives the desire, acts upon it with all of the infinite wisdom and intelligence and resources, acts upon it with absolute integrity, absolute wholeness, and manifests in form exactly what is held in beliefs. And so all that is expressed is a belief held in this one infinite mind. And everything that is in alignment is expressed in alignment. And everything that is out of alignment is expressed as out of alignment, revealing the opportunity to heal by bringing awareness and thought and experience into alignment. So I celebrate it all. I celebrate every manifestation, every animation, every expression of life. And I release my human reactions. I release my human frustrations. I release my human agendas to be fully present with what is. To truly release my word by releasing everything, every thought, every feeling, every reaction that would inhibit the full expression of God as its creation. I let go. And I step into this day whole, perfect, and complete, present for every moment. Ashe. Shalom. Aho. Amin. Amen. And so it is. Namaste.